laudable transformation. I also use this opportunity to encourage governors across the country to emulate this example by intensifying to keep our cities clean, promote proper disposal of waste, reduce plastic waste, and create healthier communities for present and future generations. I am honored to present the certificate of commendation because that's what we can do.
In his remarks, the FCT minister expressed gratitude to the First Lady for personally inspiring the transformation of Abuja City Gate.
Honoring us, we are supposed to honor you for that initiative. We want to sincerely thank you, And because of that initiative, just this morning I've called the executive secretary, acting executive secretary of the FCT to call Jonas Vega to go to life camp. There's an area in life camp where that can be replicated. Indeed, our cities should look like other cities of the world.
The Green Nigeria Challenge continues to accept entries in the household and state categories until December of this year, with a call from the First Lady to youths and women to get involved in transforming abandoned spaces and dump sites into safer, cleaner environments. The All Progressives Congress has intensified preparations for the August 15th Osun State governorship election, with its National Campaign Council holding its first strategic meeting since the inauguration of the council. The meeting, chaired by Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, focused on campaign coordination, mobilization, and operational planning as the party seeks to secure victory for its governorship candidate, Bola Oyebamiji. The meeting also focused on reinforcing APC's campaign structure, with members tasked with developing strategies to support the party's governorship bid.
Inform all of us that we have been invited to work. And what is that work? To go and support our brothers and sisters in Osun State to win the forthcoming election. This meeting is not for merrymaking. It's not for any jamboree. It is for people to come and offer.
The meeting ended with a directive for all campaign subcommittees to commence work immediately as the APC steps up preparations for the August 15th Osun State governorship election. Residents of Pico, Panda, and neighboring communities in Buari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory are calling on the FCT administration to construct proper drainage, permanent bridges, and flood control infrastructure after heavy rainfall cut off access to their communities. The appeal followed a viral video on X showing residents and school children wading through flood waters and pushing motorcycles across submerged roads. Many Nigerians urged FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, Senator Ireti Kingibe, and Buari Area Council Chairman Joshua Ishaku to intervene. Residents say the road has become impassable during heavy rains for more than 20 years, disrupting farming, healthcare, education, and other economic activities. The affected communities are home to more than 8,000 people, most of whom rely on the roads to transport farm produce to markets. National Economic Council (NEC) Implementation Monitoring Committee has commended the Edo State government for the reconstruction of the Oba market, describing the project as a significant step in restoring economic activities after the facility was destroyed by separate fire incidents in 2020 and 2025. The committee is in the state to assess the implementation of National Economic Council resolutions and key development projects. Speaking during the monitoring visit, duty team lead of the committee said the exercise is aimed at evaluating Edo State's implementation resolutions reached at NEC meetings.
We are here in Edo State to see the investments of Edo State towards achieving the objective of these resolutions. We are going to go into the field to check and visit projects, programs, intervention, legacy projects of Edo State. We are aware that the state government has been doing a lot. Yesterday we were at urban markets from scratch, a bonds market, well constructed, quality work done, and we are impressed. We are here to determine the level of implementation of NEC resolution in Edo State. We are also here to identify lesson learned and also challenges. Then we are also here to provide evidence-based data on activity, program, and intervention of Edo State towards implementing the NEC resolution.
The Edo State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning said the Okpebholo administration remains committed to implementing national economic policies through prudent resource management, transparency, and continuous monitoring.
Your visit provides a valuable opportunity to assess progress, identify implementation challenges, promote accountability, and strengthen the collaboration between the federal and state governments. The government of His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo has remained committed to translating government policies and programs into tangible outcomes that improve the lives and livelihoods of our people. We therefore welcome this monitoring exercise, not only as an assessment mechanism, but also an opportunity to showcase the progress recorded by Edo State. As you undertake your assignment in Edo State, I wish to assure you of our full cooperation and the full cooperation of Edo State government and all relevant ministries, departments, and agencies.
The monitoring team is expected to inspect other legacy projects across the 6 South-South states before concluding its assessment report, with its findings expected to contribute to the National Economic Council's evaluation of policy implementation and development initiatives across the country. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umo Eno has urged Nigerians to remain patient amid the country's economic challenges, saying President Bola Tinubu's administration is working to address the hardship. Speaking to journalists in Abuja after an event at Shepherd House Assembly, the governor called for patience and constructive dialogue with leaders, expressing confidence that ongoing reforms would deliver positive results.
I agree with you that the economy is tough, but it's not just in Nigeria. The economy globally is tough. This government, I must say, is doing so much to help. We can only support. Every government is of God, and we must learn as citizens to support the government so that they can continue to achieve the purpose for which God has sent them. I believe, like I said, in engagement rather than chaos. Out of chaos, we can't create anything. It's only God that created something out of chaos. No human being can create out of chaos. So if we continue to support our leaders, engage them positively, I believe we'll begin to see those changes.
Pastor Umo Eno also urged leaders to serve sacrificially and put the interest of the citizens ahead of personal interest. You're watching Adbn News at 2. Stay with us for more stories after the break. New Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, Professor Segun Aina, has unveiled a 5-year reform agenda aimed at strengthening the board's credibility, expanding its digital infrastructure, and improving service delivery. Aina says the 2026 to 2031 roadmap, titled JAM 2031, Building Trust, Reducing Trauma, will focus on institutional integrity, governance, technology, customer service, and strategic partnerships. He also announced plans for an independent technology review, a unified mobile app, a centralized customer service platform, and a paperless administration system. The registrar says the reforms will be people-centered, with a commitment to making JAM's examination and admission processes more transparent, efficient, and accessible, while positioning the board as Africa's most trusted assessment and admissions institution. National Broadcasting Commission has filed a fresh appeal at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, seeking to challenge a federal high court's judgment that stopped it from imposing fines on broadcast stations. The move comes after the appellate court struck out the commission's earlier appeal in June over a defective notice of appeal. The NBC is also seeking permission to challenge the legal standing of the media rights agenda, which files the original suit. The case followed the NBC's 2022 decision to fine 4 broadcasters 5 million naira each over documentaries on insecurity in Zamfara State. However, the Federal High Court ruled that the Commission lacked the powers of a court to impose punitive fines. The NBC says the judgment could weaken broadcast regulation and create uncertainty in the industry, arguing that its enforcement powers are necessary to ensure compliance and curb the spread of harmful or misleading information. Nigeria Customs Service has won the Commonwealth Environment and Corporate Social Responsibility Gold Award in Glasgow, Scotland, for its Customs Cares initiative, which supports education, healthcare, food security, and environmental sustainability across Nigeria. The service says the initiative has impacted more than 10 million Nigerians in 12 states and the Federal Capital Territory through projects including school renovations, healthcare interventions, clean water schemes, food support programs, and its Green Borders initiative. Comptroller General Adewale Adini says the award reflects the service's commitment to improving lives beyond its core responsibilities of revenue generation, trade facilitation, and border security, while advancing sustainable national development. The Kano State government has begun moves to recover portions of land belonging to Government Girls College, formerly Women Teachers College, over alleged encroachment by land grabbers. The Commissioner for Land and Fiscal Planning, Abdul Jabbar Umar, led an inspection visit where officials sealed off affected areas and marked some structures for possible demolition. The government says all illegal occupied portions of the school's land will be reclaimed and restored to the institution as part of efforts to protect public assets and enforce land regulations. Bauchi State Police Command has arrested 5 suspects in separate operations over alleged burglary and possession of suspected cannabis, recovering stolen household items and other valuables. Police say 3 suspects were arrested with items allegedly stolen from a residence in Ongoa, Sarakuna, including a television, gas cylinder, gas cooker, shoes, clothes, and jewelry. Officers say the homeowner identified the recovered property, while one suspect remains at large. In a separate operation, 2 other suspects were arrested with 2 parcels of leaves suspected to be cannabis. Police say investigations are ongoing and all suspects will be charged to court after the investigation is concluded. Ebonyi State government has intensified its crackdown on unsafe and dilapidated buildings in Abakaliki to prevent building collapses and protect lives and properties. Officials from the Ministry of Capital City Development and Urban Planning inspected structures identified as dangerous and issued eviction and demolition notices to affected property owners. The government says some residents, including families with children, are still occupying buildings with visible structural defects. Property owners have been urged to conduct regular safety assessments and comply with town planning regulations. A truck has brought down a high-tension electricity line in Arepo, Ogun State, damaging 2 electricity poles and disrupting power supply to the Wise Buyer supermarket distribution transformer. One of the poles is leaning dangerously with high-voltage cables hanging low, prompting officials to warn residents and motorists to stay away from the affected area. The incident has been reported to Ikeja Electric, which says repair work is underway while customers connected to the affected transformer may experience temporary power outages until the infrastructure is restored. You're watching Adbn News at 2. Still ahead, business, foreign, sports, and entertainment stories. Stay with us. Federal government has issued a data protection compliance circular to all ministries, departments, and agencies to strengthen data-driven governance and protect citizens' personal information. The directive signed by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, requires MDAs to comply with the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023 by appointing data protection officers, engaging compliance organizations where necessary, and submitting mandatory audit reports. The government says the move is part of efforts to promote public trust and prepare Nigeria for the digital economy, while the Nigeria Data Protection Commission says it will provide technical support to ensure compliance. Vice President Kashim Shettima has urged local and foreign investors to take advantage of Nigeria's improving economic outlook, describing Delta State as a key destination for investment. Speaking at the Delta State Economic and Investment Summit 2026 in Asaba, Shettima said President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms have strengthened macroeconomic stability, improved Nigeria's global credit profile, and boosted investor confidence. He added that increased federal allocations and recent upgrades by Fitch Ratings, S&P Global Ratings, and Moody's have created a stronger environment for long-term investment and state-led development.
This is a race we must welcome, a race that proclaims growth rather than conflict, a race in which the prize is employment, prosperity, and human dignity, a race for the future. I am therefore honored to join the government and people of Delta State in this march towards that future. Since we assume the mantle of leadership, we are scarcely taking a break from summits in power.
Vice President Kashim Shettima commended Governor Sheriff Oborevwori for hosting the summit and reaffirms the federal government's commitment to supporting states in attracting credible investments. Governor Oborevwori announced $100 million viability gap fund to support strategic private sector investments, saying the initiative will drive industrialization, economic diversification, and job creation across Delta State.
Of the Delta State Ease of Doing Business Council, chaired by me, is one of the major reforms we have undertaken to enhance the ease of doing business in the state. Of payment of tenant rates, fees, levies, and other charges to investors for up to 5 years after commencement of business.
WTO Director General Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala urged Delta State to leverage AFCFTA, global supply chain shifts, and Nigeria's economic reforms to become a major industrial hub by investing in key sectors and digital infrastructure. Pan-Africanist Prof. Patrick Lumumba also called on African governments and investors to have greater confidence in the continent's economic potential.
The value of global goods and services trade last year was a record $34.65 trillion. In volume terms, world merchandise trade grew by 4.6% in 2025, with surging demand for AI-related goods more than compensating for weaknesses linked to tariff increases and trade policy uncertainty. African merchandise export volumes grew by 10.3%, driven by minerals, metals, fuels, and agricultural products like cocoa. Global services trade grew by 5.3% and by nearly 6% for digitally delivered services trade.
It's equally tragic that in our interpretation and understanding of who an investor is in the continent of Africa, we still don't think that fellow Africans are investors. We think, and allow me to be blunt, that our investors must be Malaysians. We think that our investors must be Brazilians. We think that our investors must be Chinese.
Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Soludo said Nigeria's macroeconomic environment has improved and called for stronger economic collaboration between Delta and Anambra states to attract investment. Adbn Delta correspondent Charles Kosipre reports that Finance Minister Oyedele said President Bola Tinubu's reforms, including fuel subsidy removal and foreign exchange liberalization, have increased revenues available to states and local governments for development. Dangote Industries Limited has signed an $800 million expansion deal with Sinoma International Engineering to increase the production capacity of its cement plant in Itori, Ogun State. The project will double the plant's capacity from 6 million to 12 million metric tons annually, further strengthening Nigeria's position as one of Africa's leading cement producers and exporters. The agreement, signed in Lagos by Aliko Dangote and Sinoma chairman Lin Zong, is expected to boost Nigeria's manufacturing sector and support industrial growth. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned Iran to agree to a deal or face continued pressure, accusing Tehran of denying ongoing negotiations with Washington. Trump said a U.S. naval blockade on Iran would remain until there is a deal or total surrender. His comments came after Iran rejected claims that direct talks were taking place between both countries. Iran says its discussions are limited to talks with Oman over arrangements around the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global energy supplies. Tensions remain high as the conflict continues to disrupt shipping and regional security. A cargo ship has been hit by an unknown projectile in the Strait of Hormuz, a major global oil route, as tensions continue between the United States and Iran. The incident comes as U.S. President Donald Trump says diplomatic talks with Tehran could lead to the reopening of the waterway within hours. However, Iran has denied that negotiations are currently taking place. The Strait of Hormuz remains a key flag point in the conflict, with Iran maintaining control over the route while Washington pushes for its reopening and a resolution to disputes over Tehran's nuclear program. A United Kingdom court has sentenced a Nigerian student to 3 years in prison after convicting him of attempting to meet who he believed was a 14-year-old girl following online sexual grooming. Prosecutors told the court that 25-year-old Anderson Ishekwene exchanged hundreds of messages with what he believed was a teenage girl, unaware it was a decoy operated by an online child protection group. He was arrested after arriving for a planned meeting. In addition to the prison term, the court ordered him to register as a sex offender and comply with an indefinite sexual harm prevention order. He is also expected to face deportation to Nigeria after completing his sentence. At least 5 people have been killed and 10 others injured after a Ukrainian drone strike hit a warehouse in Russia's Moscow region, as both sides stepped up overnight aerial attacks. Russian authorities say more than 300 Ukrainian drones were intercepted, while strikes damaged industrial facilities in the Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Tver regions. Ukraine says the targeted warehouse supported the Russian military, an allegation Moscow denies. Meanwhile, Russian strikes killed at least 4 civilians in Ukraine, damaging homes and civilian infrastructure in several regions, as both countries continue to trade accusations of targeting civilian areas. More than 150 migrants have been rescued after a boat caught fire while attempting to cross the English Channel to the United Kingdom. The French Maritime Prefecture, which coordinated the rescue operation, said the vessel's engine caught fire during the journey, prompting an emergency response at sea. All those on board were safely evacuated, with no fatalities reported. The French Maritime Prefecture has launched an investigation into the cause of the fire as concerns continue over the increasing number of dangerous migrants crossing across the channel. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Team Nigeria for its performance at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland, where the country won 24 medals comprising 10 gold, 7 silver, and 7 bronze. The president praised the athletes for their resilience, discipline, and determination, saying they represented Nigeria with honor and inspired young Nigerians through their achievements. Tinubu also commended the Nigeria Olympic Committee and the National Sports Commission, reaffirming his administration's commitment to investing in sports development, improving training facilities, and creating more opportunities for Nigerian athletes. Como have agreed a deal worth more than £30 million to sign Chelsea defender Trevor Chalobah. The 27-year-old is expected to sign a long-term contract and take on a leadership role under manager Cesc Fabregas at the Italian club, who secured Champions League qualification by finishing 4th in Serie A last season. Chelsea will receive an initial £25.7 million with a further £5.1 million available in adds-on following protracted negotiations. Former Chelsea and Arsenal midfielder Fabregas has been keen to sign Chalobah and had been targeting him for more than 6 months. Portuguese champions Benfica women have completed the signing of Nigerian winger Floris Chioma Sebastian on a free transfer. The 21-year-old has signed a contract until 2029, with the club holding the option to extend the deal by a further year. Sebastian joins Benfica following the expiry of a contract with Turkish champions Fenerbahce Women's Football, where she helped the club win the 2025 till 2026 Super League title. The Nigerian international becomes Benfica's second Nigerian signing of the transfer window after the arrival of Janet Akeko-Romewe from Nasarawa Amazons last month. The legendary Williams sister, Venus Williams and Serena Williams, are set to make their Cincinnati Open doubles debut later this month after being awarded a wild card. The tournament will mark their first appearance together in doubles since the 2022 US Open. The iconic American duo have enjoyed one of the greatest doubles careers in tennis history, winning 14 Grand Slam doubles title. Doubles match came at the 2022 US Open, where they were beaten by Czech pair Lucy Radecka and Linda Noskova. The sisters had been scheduled to reunite at Wimbledon last month, but were forced to withdraw after Serena suffered a knee injury. Season 11 housemate Sheba has emerged as the head of house for week 2 after winning Monday night's challenge. Sheba, whose real name is Faith Gamde, outperformed her fellow housemates in a series of tasks, testing speed, agility, and problem-solving skills. Her victory makes her the first female head of house this season, succeeding week 1 winner Chisom Chuka. Big Brother is expected to announce more details about her privileges as head of house in the coming days. Jaffa Jackson, nephew of late pop icon Michael Jackson, has joined the cast of the upcoming action thriller Supermax, starring Will Smith. The film, directed by David Gordon Green, follows 2 FBI agents investigating a murder inside the world's most secure prison. The role marks another major milestone for Jaffa Jackson, who also portrays Michael Jackson in the highly anticipated biological film Michael. Industry observers say his latest casting further establishes him as one of Hollywood's emerging talents. That's it on ADBN TV News. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, on Star Times channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website at www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Cynthia Okosa. Thank you for watching.